Electrificados. Electrificados en el garage. Electrificados en el GarageTV. Electrificados en el garage. Electrificados en el GarageTV.
So night is a peak energy consumption for India. So we have a graph here to show you how that goes. So as you see here, solar energy peaks in the day in generation. And the demand curve is different. And India has a slightly unique demand curve where, because a lot of our energy is residential energy, while we do have industrial, etc. But in the end, residential energy is a fair amount. So वो रात में peak होता है. Industrial energy भी रात में peak होती है. So as we have installed solar, one of the challenges in front of our country's energy planners has been what to do about this issue. So this issue talks, you can see the graph on solar generation and the dotted line is the demand. So while we have excess energy in the day, we have a lean period in the night. So the bottleneck, as the slide says, is actually not generation anymore. It's storage. Now, so far, without batteries is a last 5-year phenomenon. Till batteries were deployable at scale, which is now, the whole grid architecture was engineered for peak load. Whenever we were generating energy, we had to consume it at the same time. We couldn't store energy. आप अगर थर्मल पावर प्लांट में एनर्जी जनरेट कर रहे हो या फिर हाइड्रो में कर रहे हो या सोलर में भी कर रहे हो, the electron once generated has to be consumed. Storage was never a scalable solution. But for the first time in the history of the world, power or energy, electricity can now be stored for consumption later at scale. इसके पहले वो छोटे-छोटे lead acid batteries होती थी, घर में छोटा-छोटा solution होता था. But for grid scale, you could never really store energy. But now with batteries at scale, you can do this. So you can actually literally time shift your generation like this. So this gap in demand can be met by stored energy. And this is something the whole world has in the last few years only started recognizing and deploying. What was happening across the world, and maybe Ankush will share a little bit more about this, be it in China, be it in Germany, be it in California, सब जगह जहां जहां सोलर डिप्लॉय हो गया वहां पावर कट्स भी होने लगे बिकॉज सोलर तो दिन में है, डिमांड रात में है. सो द ग्रिड स्टार्टेड गेटिंग इम्बैलेंस्ड. सो लास्ट कपल ऑफ इयर्स से इवन ग्लोबली इकोनॉमीज आर रियलाइजिंग दैट solar is only half the story. Batteries need to complement it and actually really help shift the electricity usage towards later in the day. Ankush, you want to add some global context to this?
No, that's completely correct. Globally, what you've seen is as renewables, solar and wind have increased, the biggest challenge is they're all not round the clock available. They're only available for a particular point of time. So, बाकी time क्या करेंगे? So which is where a new paradigm shift is happening in the world today, which is energy to be stored that can be used when you want later. And that is critical. That's a complete shift in how consumers have been consuming electricity and what role that new product can play in transforming how energy is consumed.
And we have an internal mission statement on this at Ola that today every electron which is generated has to be consumed at the same time. And hence generation capacity has to be designed at peak loads. Transmission capacity has to be designed at peak loads. But in the future, the vision is that 1 in 2 electrons will go through storage. And unlike solar, our ambition at Ola is that we will not just deploy batteries in India. We will actually build the full supply chain ground up. And this is the vision with which we had began working on our gigafactory 4-5 years back. We have never shared this vision in explicit detail in public. We always, the public always and the markets always used to assume that our gigafactory will only be for our automotive cells. But the biggest application for our gigafactory will actually be grid energy storage and battery storage systems, which is what we are talking to you about today. So moving on, that is the overall country context on renewables and the grid context on the need for storage. Now, where all does this storage need to be placed? Some of it will be placed in the grid itself, invisible to us consumers. But a lot of our energy usage is in our daily life. So if you think of personal as well as local energy context, be it our home, be it small commercial establishments, MSMEs, retail shops, cafes, be it agriculture. Here you see an image of a pump, a water pump powered by solar. Solar pump is a big government mission.
Moebius presenta su primer kit con toma de fuerza en 4 versiones. Este es el primer sistema totalmente preparado de origen para funcionar desde el cálido verano del norte argentino hasta la fría Patagonia. Moebius, productos reales, sin renders.